Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you our February homeschool and just general life plans and goals, and also just recapping January a little bit. I have lots of hope for February. January, there was so much beauty, but also like lots of transition and adjustment and just a variety of different things. So let's talk first about what was good about January. So why don't you share with me also in the comments what was good about your January. But before we jump in to talk about February plans and goals and January recap, I want to make sure you know about the Steam Mega Bundle that is happening right now. I have a brand new unit that is launching as part of that bundle, and I will show you more of it later and talk to you more about it later in the video, but I just want to let you know because it is only available for a limited time and you get so many awesome, unique units for such a low price, and you have them forever to use with all of your kids. So I'm gonna make sure I link that in the description box below so you can go check it out. And also there are freebies over on the site that you can get with or without purchase, just as a thank you for going and checking it out and considering grabbing it. So for us, things that were so good about January is getting back to skiing and snowboarding weekly as a family. We do a homeschool program, and it is just such a great time for everyone, which is such a blessing because with 5 children with a wide range of ages, to find an activity that all of them and me love is really a blessing. And so getting back to that weekly has been such a blessing in January. We also went on a beautiful trip to Florida. That was such a gift, such a blessing. It was such an amazing time. We also traveled to the Poconos and I shot 2 cabins there. We loved Bear Rock Cabin. If you are going to the Poconos, this would be like one of my top choices for sure. Definitely top 3 picks in the Poconos. It's brand new. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's in a gated community. It's huge, but not too big. Everything, every detail was just amazing. There is a game room in the basement for the kids and adults. There's air hockey, and there's a huge hot tub and a sauna out back. There's a fire pit. There is just a big, beautiful kitchen to cook in. There's a bunk room with 4 full-size bunks. I will link that down in the description box. We also checked out Sunset Cabin in the Poconos, which was also a lovely place. This one is going to be a little bit more affordable. So if Bear Rock Cabin is out of reach, Sunset Cabin also has an amazing game room in the basement that my kids absolutely loved. So I will link that one down in the description box below as well. So for travel and adventure, it was a really great month, and I'm looking forward to more of that in February. While February will be a little bit quieter, happily so. We still have a little bit of travel that we'll be doing. We'll be continuing our skiing and snowboarding, hopefully maybe doing some snowshoeing and some ice skating. As far as homeschool goes, we did a decent job of still staying in the habit and rhythm of doing our academics. I always struggle to feel like maybe we're not doing it enough. One thing that we did, this is super random, we finally finished our keepsake Bible. So I have 3 of these. They're looking rough. Like we may need to get another round of them, but I have 3 of these for my younger 3 kids because they're like a coloring Bible and they are like a kid's storybook Bible. However, they go beyond for sure like your typical children's Bible. There are more stories from the Bible in here than like everything you would already know from Sunday school. So I really liked this a lot. And the way that we used this is we read through this cover to cover together as a family every day for the most part. There were some days that we missed, and then some days we would do it once in the morning, once in the evening. Because our morning time, my husband is not here for, so in the evening we do like an evening family time as well. If you've been around for a while, you may have seen that in a day in the life or heard me talk about it, but it's a really special time for our family. We also always do a psalm and a proverb each day so that they're getting like the full scriptures from that. And we just last night transitioned to the Child Story Bible. So the verdict is still out on whether or not I love this, but it was gifted to me, I don't know, probably over a year ago from a book supplier, and I've been holding on to it because I feel like it's a bridge between this and just the full scriptures. And I think the full scriptures are great, and I definitely read them with my kids, but being able to read through a little bit faster to get the full arc of scripture, and then to also read scripture straight from the full Bible, I really like that. So I feel like this, like we got this, then we're gonna go back in and this is gonna hit even more detail. And then once we go through this, we might start reading the Bible from cover to cover. So this is what we're using next in our kind of like Bible morning time. So I'm gonna be toggling back and forth, I guess, between January and February, because that's just the way my brain works. Another thing that we started in January that I'm really loving are these gratitude journals. I've been wanting to do gratitude journals for a long time now, never get around to it. Always feel like I don't want to add in yet another thing, because it's kind of how I roll, that I'm like pulling from such a wide range of things on a regular basis. And just kind of looping through them. I don't have like a loop schedule like some people do, which I think is amazing. I'm just looping through as I see fit, or what I feel like we need to be doing on that day, or what the kids are more interested in that day or week. But this is beautiful. This is from Ashley over at Grace and Grit. She created this. It is available on Amazon. I got one for me and each of my older 3 kids. My younger 2 are not quite ready for this yet. Like I might talk them through some of them, like just reading to them the verse, asking them how we can apply it, what they thank God for. So I could do this with them just to get them talking about it and thinking about it, so that when they are ready to fill out their own, they're kind of in the practice of thinking through those things. So in real time, I'm deciding that's something I'm going to be doing with my littles, but this has been really great. So definitely recommend that. Also leave her a review on Amazon if you get it and love it, because it's really helpful. Other exciting things that happened in January, just personally, I was on 2, I think it was just 2 in January. I was on 2 podcasts. I was on the Greta Eskridge podcast, as well as the Accidental Homeschool Mama podcast with Kate Crocco. And the one with Greta Eskridge, there's actually going to be a part 2 coming out, because we ended up talking about something entirely different than what we planned on, which was totally fine. I ended up actually sharing much of my testimony. We basically did like an autobiography on the Greta Eskridge podcast. So I will try to remember to link that below in case you're interested in that. And then Kate Crocco is talking a lot lately about dreaming again as homeschool moms, and like kind of finding a way, finding the inspiration, finding the time or the means to dream again as homeschool moms. So we talked a little bit about that, and how I've been doing that and creating a business and all of those things alongside homeschooling. So you can go and listen to that one. I'll link that down there below as well. And then this week, by the end of the week, I'm going to put it out here to make myself accountable. I am getting up a new podcast. So my little podcast hiatus is over, and I am going to be sharing a new podcast that I'm very excited about. And I think you guys are really going to love it. It's different from all of the podcast guests that I've had so far. So I'm just really excited. So be on the lookout for that. I will be sharing it here on YouTube, but you can also listen to it over on Apple or Spotify, or however you listen to your podcasts. One thing I would so greatly appreciate is that if you would go and leave a review and a rating for the podcast. It's really helpful for new podcasts, and it just takes a minute or 2. I would really appreciate that. And if you have missed any of the podcasts, definitely go back and watch or listen so that you're all caught up when the new episode comes out. Other things that we did in January academic-wise are all of my kids are still using the Good and the Beautiful language arts for math and language arts, other than my oldest, who's 17. My 17-year-old has really gone through a lot of changes in the last few months. And a lot of it is just natural, and a lot of it has been really hard for me transitionally, if I'm just being honest. And so I'm not going to dive into that a lot, but that is something that's been like a little bit hard to navigate for me, as he's driving on his own and he has more hours at work and is working more, and just navigating his schedule and his freedom and trying to find the balance between being like over controlling and overly permissive, and just finding what's appropriate for his age, especially with my first, has been really, really hard. And so pray for me, and also leave your tips if you're a mom who's walked through this season. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will try to share along my journey within reason and respecting his privacy as I go. But I'm also sharing much more about those types of things in an upcoming virtual homeschool conference that I want to share with you guys about. There are actually 2 homeschool conferences, virtual homeschool conferences that I'm speaking in the upcoming couple of weeks. So this weekend on Saturday is the first one, and it is the Refresh Homeschool Conference. It is a 1-day live virtual homeschool conference that you can attend live. There are live panels and discussions and sessions. I have a code for you for 25% off your ticket, which makes your ticket, I believe, less than $22. Highly encourage you to be there. In that particular one, I'm sharing about nourishing and nurturing ourselves as homeschool moms, which is something that I've been really trying to focus on and get better at. So that is continuing to be one of my goals for February moving forward. I'm going to be sharing a lot about my journey in nourishing and nurturing myself as a homeschool mom in this upcoming conference, February 8th, the Refresh Homeschool Conference. So I will put the link and the code to get 25% off your ticket in the description box below. But then about a week later, there is actually another homeschool conference happening. This model is a little bit different. It is also virtual, but it is not live, and you can watch it on your own time. And so that one is also going to be super affordable. I'm pretty sure that both of them together, you can get tickets for less than $50. So I just feel like do them both. They're different, but they'll also, I just feel like it's a time of year too for us as homeschool moms where we could really use that boost of encouragement to like keep going. So in that one, I'm sharing about patiently pursuing our children through life's different seasons. And I share a lot about navigating this like season of having a senior, as well as seasons of transitioning from babies to toddlers and all of the different changes and how motherhood can really change and need to change in different seasons. So if any of those topics seem to resonate with you, definitely check out the conferences. And then there are a variety of other homeschool mamas that are going to be sharing at both of those conferences as well. So you can find those links in the description box. One new thing that I am trying is the Peaceful Homeschool Planner. They sent this to me, and you guys know that I've been using the For the Love of Homeschooling digital planner for a few years now, and I love it. I got out of the habit of using it the last couple months. I haven't even been using a planner, and I created like these printable pages, and I've been using a clipboard. If you saw these, I shared these over on Instagram. I'll try to remember to link these below because I do really love these too. These have like monthly, weekly, and daily goals checklists for myself and the kids. There's like a weekly planning page. Needs and wants for the week is something I implemented with my kids so that they stop firing a billion different requests at me at the wrong time. So it helps them feel heard by getting those thoughts down while they're thinking of them, but then also helps me to not feel overwhelmed when they're all firing different questions at me. And it also helps them understand the differences between needs and wants. So that is something that I have available. I think it's like $5 or $3 or something over on Etsy. I'll try to remember to link it down below. So I've just been using those, and that's been okay. But I either need to put them into a planner or maybe like mix them with this planner. I don't know. I'm trying this out new. I know that this is available on Amazon in print, I'm pretty sure, but I got the digital version, and I do like digital versions so that I can create them how I want them and move pages around. Not print pages that I know that it's highly likely I'm not going to use, and then like create multiple of pages that I think I'm going to use a lot. And so I only printed for the next 2 months. Typically I do like 2 to maybe like 3 or 4 months at a time, instead of printing a whole year. That's just how I've always done it. That way it doesn't get like too tattered or whatever. So I am really interested in using like these daily pages that are in here. And then while we're talking about goals for February, there's also a goals page that I actually really liked because it categorized the goals a little bit for me. And I can feel very scattered in my thoughts. So being able to think about, okay, what are my goals for my home environment, for personal growth, for physical health, and all of those things. So I'm going to share those really quickly with you guys. For home environment, I just made bullet points for these. So peace, structure, and togetherness. So pursuing peace in my home right now is so important to me. So just praying through that and asking the Lord to show me what that looks like. So peace, but also maintaining structure. So while there's moving pieces, like my senior having a different schedule for me to have to adjust to and all of those different things, how do I still keep the structure and the anchors and the rhythms of our homeschool? And then while I'm trying to keep those, what things do I maybe need to be flexible enough to change? Togetherness, again, along that same line, like making sure that we still have that togetherness piece in place is really important to me. So although it may look different in this season, how can I do that? For personal growth, reading more. So I want to be reading more personally. I have so many books that I've either started or haven't even started yet that I really want to get to, but a lot of times in my free time I work, if I'm just being honest. Like being a content creator, having a business, it pretty much being a one-woman show, there is always hours and hours of work to be done, or there's laundry to be done, or a floor to be washed, or, things to be done here. And so finding the time or forcing myself to carve out the time to like relax and do something like reading is really hard for me. So that is a personal growth goal for me, because it is personal growth to read books that build you up as a person. And then for professional growth, developing my business, but also doing this in a way that is balanced is important to me. Also for professional growth, I just put down creating my Slow Down Guide Volume 2. So that is my first time ever sharing that with anyone other than Crystal, who hosts the Simplified Year bundles that come out just annually. Last year in that bundle, I released my complete Slow Down Guide, where previously I had just kind of like seasonal mini guides that went along with certain pages in the Slow Down book. And then I did an entire notebooking guide for the Slow Down book. It's like 180 something pages. But there is a second Slow Down book, as you probably know, Slow Down and Be Here Now. And so I decided I'm going to create basically a volume for that as well. So that will be releasing, I believe, in May. So just be on the lookout for that if you're interested in that. It'll be great for like the summer or using it for the upcoming school year. For play, I love that that is in here because, again, I struggle with that. And so I put down skiing and ice skating because those are things that like we're already doing or already have on the horizon, to give myself a little boost and encouragement of like, you're already doing some of those things, capitalize on those, maximize that. And then playing games, because this is something that my kids love that I struggle with taking time for. So I put that down. Spiritual health, personal Bible reading daily. So we read the Bible every day together as a family, sometimes twice a day. But I am struggling a bit with finding the time to do this on my own. Again, not that there isn't really time for it. It's just like me choosing to carve out the time. So I'm trying to make myself accountable for that. Physical health. The main thing I need to do for my physical health, and I talk about this in the Nourishing and Nurturing Ourselves as Homeschool Moms video for the conference, is to exercise more consistently. That is the hardest for me. Drinking water is probably second because I drink a lot of coffee, but I eat fairly healthy and I live a fairly like healthy, like low tox lifestyle and all of those things. But getting myself to intentionally exercise every day, again, that daily carving out time for me that isn't like something I see as productivity is really hard. So I put that down. Family relationships, I put down connecting one-on-one with each child and with my husband, because we get a lot of time together as a family, but the one-to-one time with both like each of my kids and myself and then my husband, I struggle to find time for. So I put that down. Friend relationships, I wrote down a few friends locally that I want to try to be more intentional about connecting with. We're all busy homeschool moms on that list, so yeah. And then I wrote down something that I'm going to be doing in a couple of months that I am making time for, that is both for friend relationship and also rest for me. And it's a retreat that you may have seen pop up by my friend Jamie over at Simply Living It. There may be 1 or 2 or 3 spots left when this video goes up. There may be none. It may be sold out. But she is hosting a retreat and I'm going to be there for it. So I'm really excited for that. So I put that down. For homeschool goals, I just wrote down be consistent. Be consistent. And then for finances, I just wrote down save. I really want to try to be more intentional about saving money. One thing that my husband and I have been really intentional about is tithing faithfully, and then even giving above the tithe all of the money that comes in. And so, and I guess I should also add, like, finding a better way to organize for filing taxes for my business, because that is a little overwhelming. So pray for me. Give me any tips for that down in the comments if you have experience with that. So those are like my February goals that I wrote down. I'll show you some things that we're adding in for February. One of them is this exploring hibernation unit that I just created. This is in the STEAM mega bundle that's happening that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is my newest unit. It is one that I actually combined with a previous book companion guide, and I want to point that out to you so you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I already have this. The second half of this is the book companion guide that goes along with the book Winter Sleep. And I really loved it and just wanted to develop it a little bit more into like a hibernation unit. And so there is stuff about understanding the different types. These are out of order, so don't pay attention to the order right now. But the different types of hibernation, what it is, the animals that hibernate, what is actually happening to the animal's body during hibernation. There's like matching for the different types of hibernation. There is copy work of different levels, all the way up to like cursive from tracing one letter. There is literary analysis that goes along with that book. Reading comprehension, coloring. There's something for like pretty much all ages in here. I would say 3 through 10 or 12. Realistically, it's going to be the best fit for. So that is part of the current STEAM mega bundle, which is only going to be available for a limited time and is linked down in the description box. Another thing that we started in January, we haven't gotten really far, but we finally started it. I've been mentioning this for a while, is we started the homeschool languages box. I don't have the box in front of me, but this is the guide. And we started learning Italian, and my littles are loving it. So I just started doing it with my 3 youngest because the lessons themselves are most geared for those ages. I think it's like 3 through 10. But we've been teaching the actual language that we've been learning through the activities to my older kids and husband. So that's been pretty fun to include them because I want them to learn Italian too, but like the lessons aren't really fitting for a 13 and 17-year-old. But I have fun doing this with my kids, and they have tons of languages, and there's like a little puppet, and there are games, and I actually really love the style of teaching it. We've also been dipping in and out of this season's Afield, a literature approach to natural science for primary grades by Beautiful Feet Books. And I love this because it's literature based. It also ties in the slow down guide. It ties in watercoloring from this watercolor book, a bunch of different picture books, and then different Brambly Hedge readings. So we've really been loving this, and this connects with my hibernation guide because hibernate is one of the topics in here. It connects with my slow down guide because it uses the slow down book. This has just been really great. I will link this down below as well if you're interested in that. What we are starting this week, finally, it's another one that I've been wanting to do for like at least a year, is Intro to Psychology by Gather Round Homeschool. We finished Health in the Human Mind by The Good and the Beautiful, and I feel like that laid a really great foundation, and then this is going to dig in more, especially for my older 2 boys. So I'm really, really excited about this, and I will keep you posted about how I like it. Let me know down below if you did it and you liked it. Another thing that you may have seen, I'm going to be sharing more of it in an upcoming day in the life, but I actually recently posted a Do a Lesson With Me video, or Do a Lesson With Us video about it, is the Science for Little Hearts and Hands by The Good and the Beautiful, Bones and Stones. This is their newest one. I really love Science for Little Hearts and Hands, like absolutely love it for my younger 3 kids. It says preschool through 2nd grade, but my 9-year-old, who's technically a 4th grader, loves it too. So I do it with those 3. They absolutely love it. And so I alternate between this and Seasons Afield. Again, I am a little bit all over the place and pull from different things because I just love the variety, and I think it keeps things interesting. However, actually not however, along that same line, we did the first few lessons in Bones and Stones, and we're gonna pause because we haven't done many in here. So The Good and the Beautiful recommends that you do these in order from beginning to end, and it makes sense because some of the lessons build on one another, but we can use our discretion and look and see like if our child is going to be able to make sense of a lesson that we just decide to pull from. For example, like a lesson on snow because it's snowing outside that I want to connect with something that we're doing in Seasons of Field. So I connect these things. So maybe one week I'm doing, for example, like the hibernate lesson in here with my hibernation guide, something from Slow Down, and then all those things together cover our science, but tie in literature and that kind of thing. Same thing for this. So there's a snow lesson coming up in here, and then I want to do the snow lesson in here in the Wind and Waves, which was a previous release for science from Little Hearts and Hands from the Good and the Beautiful. So I love these so much. I will link these down below in the description box as well. We are still reading Little Town on the Prairie. I don't feel like getting up. It's right over there. We are also reading Worldview. I'm reading it with my older two boys who are 13 and 17. It is from Generations Homeschool. I will try to remember to link it down below, but I'm really loving it. It's been talking a lot about worldview and how our worldview affects everything, how we receive truth, how we receive information we're presented with. It's been really important, I feel like, for my older boys as they are getting older and being faced with more media and more outside influences. I think it's been really, really helpful. And even for me, I've been finding it really interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything else because I feel like I'm always forgetting something. We've been doing lots of outdoor play on our bijou build. This is something I shared actually a video about sometime in the last few weeks showing us building it. But I also have a discount code for that. So if you're in the market for some outdoor play structures, this is the one, 100% the one. It's amazing. Also, I'll share with you my sweater that I have on is my newest sweater from New Flora. This is from the January. It's like a nice slouchy, cozy sweater. This is from the January launch. I love New Flora. It's one of the top places that I get my clothes. I get asked quite often about my sweaters and my jeans and things like that. New Flora and Wantable are my top two places to get clothes, to build my wardrobe. I used to do a lot of shopping at like Target and Amazon because it's like quick and easy and cheap, but I found really that it does not save me money because over time the things don't last, they don't wash well. And so I've been really upgrading my wardrobe that way. And the reason I'm sharing that is another one of my goals is to continue purging things from my closet and my drawers that I just literally don't wear. And I think that I'm holding onto them for like someday that I like am gonna need it or wanna wear it. And I need to just get rid of the stuff. It's like getting ridiculous. So I share that to say, purge your clothes with me and replace it with high quality items that are gonna like not be super trendy, but will stand the test of time and you'll feel put together. I think that's it for today, guys. Let me know if you have any similar plans for February or what your February plans and goals are. If you want to connect with me more, you can find me over on Instagram at rooted_homelife. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below. All of that engagement really helps my channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Be on the lookout for some upcoming videos, both the podcast and a day in the life. It is very rare that I do a day in the life. So be on the lookout for that and let me know what you think of it. Speaking of day in the life videos and just day in the lives in general, I am actually going to be doing the day in the life takeover over on the Learning Well Instagram page. If you have not seen those, I love them. Different moms take over the page on certain days to share their homeschool day in the life. So you get to see a wide variety of different moms in different seasons of life with different homeschool styles, different age kids, different numbers of kids, different homeschool philosophies, sharing what their days look like homeschooling. And I just feel like it can be so helpful to see such a wide variety of how different families' homeschools can look and still be thriving, and not to think that they have to look one particular way. So be on the lookout for that. Go right now before you forget and follow Learning Well over on Instagram so that you don't miss my takeover this Wednesday, February 5th. I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos, and until next time, stay rooted.